Welcome to Material Things with Artmuzo. I'm Siddharth, your host for the day, and today we will be getting deeper into the story that goes behind any material before it reaches you. So subscribe right now if you're looking forward for more such conversations. I'll be connecting with various manufacturers, material makers, and industry experts. This podcast is presented by Artmozo, which is a platform for architects and designers to explore various building materials, order samples for those materials, and get the samples delivered at their doorsteps within 48 hours for free. So today we have Mr. Abhiroop Agarwal, the Chief Business Development Officer at Realply Industries, to educate us about the veneer industry and veneers in specific. Realply Industry is a natural veneer brand who have been in the space for more than 20 years now. They manufacture impressive and elegant natural veneers from indigenous wood sourced across the world. So stay tuned till the end, and I promise you this podcast will give you all the information and knowledge that you need to have about the veneers.
So,
Mhm.
like starting from the beginning, Realply has really wide variety of veneers, right? Like when once we received the samples,
Yeah.
there were a number of categories of trees, and then again like different cuts and varieties in each tree. So, how do you procure all these materials? How the raw materials come from, and all those journey for that? How does the process start?
Okay. So in terms of making veneers, now the very basic steps at starts with the procurement of the logs. Now,
Okay.
our manufacturing unit is one of its kind, and it provides from forest to veneer solutions. That is that we have
Okay.
all the processes in house. So basically, the very basic step would be to procure the log, and for that,
Uh-huh.
we have our different channels, be it
Okay.
from like domestic sources or international sources. And the best part about procuring vineyards is that you always get the best quality when you procure it from the indigenous region itself. So,
Oh,
for
like mentioned
example,
in your website as well.
yeah, exactly. So, like, let's
Okay.
talk about walnut here. So, walnut is indigenous to the US. So, you get
Uh-huh.
majority of your walnut from there, the American walnut, and that is where most you get from. But again, there are vendors also who would provide you with the semi-finished product. Would that would be like the um, veneer fleeces as well. But
What
for
does
us,
that
we
mean?
mainly veneer fleeces are basically the slices of veneer that you see.
Okay, okay, like the finished product.
Not the finished product itself, but like the slices of the veneer which you arrange to make the finished product.
Okay, okay,
Because if
understood.
you when you look at a sheet of veneer, you can see that it's
Uh-huh.
divided into multiple strips. Like let's just call it strips
Yes.
for understanding sake. And
Okay.
those are basically called fleeches. And
Okay.
when you slice a log, you get those fleeches, which you arrange in
Uh-huh.
some order to make the design.
Okay, okay, okay. And
The
like
very
you
basic
mentioned,
step.
yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
No, you were saying that like the walnut, so you get it from US. So do you guys have to travel each time
Yeah,
like
we have
once
to
a year?
travel. So the thing is that when you're procuring raw material for veneers, you can't really just make that decision over the phone or by looking at pictures. It is something
Okay.
that you have to go there and actually look at the logs itself and then take the decision because there are huge log yards, okay? And we always
Uh-huh.
source our raw material very ethically. We don't
Okay.
buy it from illegal vendors or non-verified vendors because you
Definitely.
can't just cut all the trees that there are. You have to have a
Oh.
license to be able to cut trees from a specific
Mm-hmm.
forest or a specific part of a forest.
Okay, so they
So
are
that is also
cultivated
one reason.
separately for this
Yeah.
purpose only.
Even if they're
Okay,
not cultivated separately, it's just that they have been fixed through a quota. So like you can only procure the material through those channels.
okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is one of the reasons why veneer is also considered an expensive product.
Oh, okay, okay. And like you
Yeah.
get all the raw materials from outside the country only or from India as
No, we also procure raw materials from India. So some of the natural species we get from India. We get a lot of teak from India. So when we talk about teak, we mainly procure teak from Burma and India both. So the
well?
Indian teak is
Okay.
called CP teak, and the Burma teak is called again Burma teak.
And which place in India is like famous for this?
There
For
are quite a
tea?
few. There are quite a few states. I would say UP, MP are also popular in procuring the
Oh,
teak veneer, and also Northeast entirely. your Nagaland, your
Okay.
Assam. See, the thing is that it's not even about where you find them, but also where your vendors are. It is about finding the
That's the
right
thing.
channels.
Like I'm from
Because
Kerala,
a lot of
so I have seen a lot of
oh
trees over there as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So see, the
So
thing
I
is
was
that
curious.
we usually don't procure us raw materials from South India simply for the reason because of the distance.
Oh
Like
yes, yes, you are based in
the
like
transportation
north.
in itself, North India. So it's
Uh-huh.
considerably easier for us to visit Northeast and get our products from there rather than
Mm-hmm.
South India. And when you talk about the entire panel industry products, like let's say plywood also, so Kerala has a huge scope for plywood and a huge industry setup there as well. So a
Is
lot of
it?
plywood
Oh,
that is being used over there, it is
okay.
usually locally manufactured and not coming from north or the west or sometimes from the east as well.
They have a lot of resources for themselves.
Yeah, they have a lot of resources and they have a lot of industry setup also there to manufacture those
Uh-huh.
products.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you procure these materials, once these huge logs reach your factory, so how does the environment look like over there? How does the process start at Real Ply?
Okay. So, as I mentioned before that we have a fully integrated plant and which is one of its kind in the country.
Can you explain that? What do you
Yeah, yeah,
mean by that?
I'll talk about it. So basically, our manufacturing unit is a combination of multiple plants or units, as you would say, because
Okay.
slicing of veneer in itself is a huge task, and it's in itself
Mm-hmm.
is an industry that way. And
Mm-hmm.
then making the base panels on which you stick the veneers after the processing, it's also an
Mm-hmm.
industry in itself. And then doing the
Okay.
value added processes for veneers such as your smoking, dyeing, weathering, brushing, etc., those are also separate industries in themselves. So
Oh.
what I mean by a fully integrated plant is that we have everything in house. Like we
Mm-hmm.
provide from forest to veneer solutions wherein
Oh,
the
like you
log would
mentioned.
arrive and all the
Uh-huh.
processes would be done in house and the finished product, that is the sheet of veneer, would be leaving our factory.
Okay, interesting.
So I'd
So
like
like
to
your
shed
factories
some
are
more
so
light.
huge.
Yeah, it is very huge. So I think it's spread across 13.5 acres of land, and
Oh,
all we do is make veneers over there.
interesting. I would love to visit that place someday.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to have you there, and we could also show the people around what we're doing behind the scene.
Definitely. A tour of your factory would be very interesting for our
Yeah,
viewers as well.
for for sure. So it's not as if that it had happened overnight, but it's been a long journey so far, and we've
Uh-huh.
really, uh, have been successful and have been able to gain the opportunity to increase our capacities and capabilities so much.
Uh-huh. So
We
RealPly
merely
has been
introduced
in the yes.
we merely introduced Veneer as a product in the year 2007. So previously that we were
Okay.
just juggling between other products in the panel industry, such as manufacturing of plywood, the basic kinds of plywood that there are we used to earlier manufacture. In the middle, we stopped manufacturing plywood, but again, since the past 2 years, we started doing it,
Okay.
and
So was
we
there any specific
also
reason for stopping?
not really. We just found veneers more interesting, and we really wanted to set our foot in those. So that is what makes us the largest manufacturer for veneer in the country as well right now. So we have
Okay.
a capacity of manufacturing approximately 2.5 lakh sheets of veneer every month.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So once these how does the process begin? Like
So
what
the first step is of course procuring the raw material. Uh, the
understood.
very basic one of them being the log. And when it
Yes.
arrives, there is the inspection. We basically just
Uh-huh.
do the whole quality control check that okay, this is a log that we actually purchase, and there are no hindrances in the quality over there. And when you
Uh-huh.
look at a log, it's basically like round, and
Hmm.
that's not the ideal shape to cut any slices of veneer from it. So what we do is that
Okay.
we first convert it into a beam. So like
Okay.
with a beam saw, we convert the
Uh-huh.
entire cylindrical log into a beam, which is like in a cuboid shape, elongated cuboid shape. And
Okay.
any wood naturally is hard, of course, and you can't just very easily slice it off, like because
Slice
at the
it
end,
up.
what is veneer?
Yes.
Veneer is just thin slices of wood, and
Definitely.
you can't just do that. So every wood, depending upon the species and the size of the log, etc., is boiled first so that it softens the wood.
O-
So
Okay.
it's boiled with some chemicals, sometimes just water also, but usually they have some chemical components. And for
Okay,
that, I'd
okay.
have to get in touch with the factory as to what the details are for those.
Ha ha
But
ha ha.
yeah, so it helps you soften the woods, and at times it can go along for days also. It's not just a very small process, but a single log
Acha,
of wood
just the
can be in the
boiling
water
part.
for days. Yeah, just the boiling part also.
Okay. So it's
So that's why,
like a longer timeline for the whole process of manufacturing veneers.
yeah, but the thing is that we never just make product from scratch for anyone. So for example, I would only be
Hmm.
selling material which is on hand with me, right? I won't take an
Hmm.
order for a log, because if I do that, then the customer would obviously have to wait that timeline for me and would also have to take that
Acha.
much yield.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
So the
So after
like the
boiling,
huh.
we take the beam and then we slice it to actually get our veneer flitches or slices or strips, as you would like to call it.
Ha ha ha.
And that is mainly like the third process in our entire, you can say, belt. And so, as I told you, like, even doing all these three steps together is a process of its own, because you
Hmm.
usually don't buy boiled wood, because time is of the essence, in terms that you can't just it would obviously naturally dry out also, so you have to do it together.
Okay.
So
So
that becomes
like
a
all the
part in its
process
own.
should happen side by side. Once that is done,
Yeah,
we
not
cannot
all the,
make.
but like with breaks. So like your beaming,
Okay.
your boiling and slicing should happen together to ensure the good quality, or like to ensure no wastage of raw material is happening,
And
and you're able to
slicing,
optimally. Yes,
yes.
yes, please.
So slicing is that part like where it gets its texture and all those things. Is it that part?
No, not really. Slicing is the part wherein you basically just see what you got. Like that is the real reality check of the step. Because see,
Reality
when
check
you're
of the
purchasing a log,
logs.
you can't, yeah, you can't really know what you're buying. Like there are obviously a
Okay.
few checkpoints where what you ensure before buying the product, but you can't really know for
Uh-huh.
sure how it's going to happen. Because I'll give an example. So a lot of times when you're slicing, or okay, so imagine a tree growing, and
Huh.
someone probably hammered a nail inside, so that nail still exists in the plant, in the tree, even when it
Oh,
grows.
yes.
So slicing it might create a design for it. It might create so a lot of defects in veneers are considered to be designs now.
Uh-huh.
So it all
Okay.
depends on how the end consumer or the person visualizing the concept is looking at it. So
Just the
uh,
natural touch it has.
So a defect, yeah, exactly. So a defect for someone could be something which is invaluable, and something, some natural design would look as a defect to someone else. So it all depends on
Oh.
the perspective that you look at it from.
Okay, okay. So slicing is just the initial part of the process only.
Yeah, that is the initial part of the process. So that is why I like to club these processes together, so that you get an idea as to how many different parts. And also, like manufacturing of veneer, like manufacturing any product is not easy, but specifically veneer, and it being a natural product also, it has its own beauty in the process as well as its
Mm-hmm.
own hassles.
Uh-huh. Definitely. Since I was also seeing the samples, like every
Yeah,
sample is unique in its own.
yeah,
If like
exactly.
there is even if the same
So
category, but each sample is different.
exactly. So this is the most fun fact about veneer, that no matter cheap, expensive, or medium range, if there is a single sheet of veneer, that is only the single sheet in the entire world. Like you can't have a copy of it,
Oh, that.
you can say. So
Oh,
it's unique to
like
you. So even if you just buy a sheet of veneer, it's unique to you. No one else, no matter what they do
no.
for it, they can't procure that again, because it's not going to
Okay,
exist.
that's really interesting thing. Like if I have a veneer,
Yeah,
that's just mine.
that's just yours. Yeah, you can say it proudly that
Okay.
you're one of a one owner for that.
Interesting. So what are the
Yeah.
steps after that? I'm very curious to know.
Yeah. Okay. So after you slice the veneer, so we only soften the wood so that it's easier for us to slice and procure the thin strips of veneer. After
Huh.
that, we move on to the drying stage, wherein we
Okay.
dry the veneer strips, and it's done in,
Okay.
again, huge machines. You would also relate that machine with some sort of a pizza oven. So like you've seen those pizza ovens with the conveyor
Ha
belt,
ha ha.
wherein you just
Ha ha.
put it on one end, and it slowly moves on and comes out of the other end. So that's basically one of
Yes.
the dryers that we use,
Okay.
and that's how the veneer slice is slowly dried out with the moisture that is taken out. Now it again varies from species and the thickness and whatnot, that how, at what temperature, or how many times will it be rotated in the cycle. just to ensure the correct crispness of the veneer itself.
Okay. So I'm going a little behind. Like you mentioned, if there is even a nail in that, it will give a different texture. So does that spoil your entire raw material as well sometimes?
No,
Any
it
problems
doesn't
that
really,
come in the
because
initial stage?
usually it does not. I'll tell you why. Because mainly when you talk about veneers, the people purchasing it, they are aware of all these problems, you know. So like they know for a fact that if there is a hole in it, because of this reason, or it happened due to this, and no one can help that. So
Okay,
it's the
okay,
same as,
okay.
just like going with the flow. Because if you like have to do that, you have to, like, if you'd want the perfection in the veneers, then you'd have to, cultivate it that way and actually grow it for your own consumption, which is not really possible because you understand how much time it takes for a tree to grow to its full height.
Understood, understood, understood.
And that is why, again, I'll come to this subject later, but that is why grading of veneers plays a huge role.
And what is that?
Grading of veneers is just understanding what quality of the material you're getting. So, like the same
Acha.
tree, you can get the premium strips out first, like just how they sort things out. And there are
Okay.
differently. So, like, I'll give an example. So, when you talk about diamonds, again, naturally occurring products, just a baby of
Yes.
carbon, and they have a lot of variation in themselves. A lot of things which you can't tell just by the naked eye, but when you get in the
Hmm.
details of it, you'd understand. Like, for example, the
Okay.
different shades of color in a diamond, you can compare those with the different quality checkpoint. Not I wouldn't say checkpoints, but like different quality standards for veneers. So um, most of the times when veneer is like when veneer is considered to be of the highest quality, it varies on a few factors. Now those factors would include the texture, the color that it's getting, and the the amount of defects it has. So usually knots and cracks and holes are considered to be defects, but
Acha,
a lot
it's
of times people are
defect.
looking for those defects. So if you look at the
Oh,
sample that I shared with you, I'm sure
yes.
you'd find some with knots, like which are just like circle things on the
Ha.
face of it, or some with just basic holes. So those
Yes,
are
yes.
natural defects. And again, it depends on the
Okay.
perspective on what you're seeing it as.
Okay, understood, understood. So now,
Yeah.
like, let's continue on the
Yes, of
process.
course. So right before we actually go ahead with the drying part, we also have this small process called marking. Now, marking basically means just calculating what quality of material and what yield you got from the log. Now, it is somewhat of an internal process, but it lets you give you an idea. Okay, so this was my expectation from this log, but I'm only going to be able to make this much from it, and this is the quality of material I got from it. Because
Acha.
at
Okay.
a lot of times, you can't say with certainty how many slices of veneers you're going to get from it. You anyways don't count
Okay.
it by that. You count it by cubic meter of product that you actually gotten.
Okay,
So,
like
and
the
it
cubic meter
also,
log.
yeah, and it also helps you get an idea as to what quality of product and how much of a product you'll be able to make
Acha. Like in the process of marking.
in the process of marking. So after
Okay.
that, we go on to the drying bed where we dry our material, and then your veneer strips or veneer slices are ready. So now you can play around with those and what you want to do. Now, after that step, what happens is by far the most interesting step you will actually come across, and that is something what I considered is to like be truly art. Because
Okay.
let's say that you have a bundle of veneers, okay, you have like thin slices
Huh.
of veneers in a bundle. Now it's
Huh,
your
huh, huh.
job to spread it across and make a design out of it, correct?
Huh.
That is where the magic happens. So imagine you
Okay.
have four different strips laying around, and you have
Yes.
to arrange it in a pattern in which it looks good. Now,
Acha.
you would do it using your own understanding and experience, correct? But if you
Huh.
come to think of it, even just the slightest switch in the arrangement of veneers, it can make the biggest difference. Like, for
Oh.
example, looking at the joints. So
Huh.
when okay, coming back to the quality of veneers, when you talk about it, the complete product, seeing no joints is a very big factor of it. You're not supposed to be seeing joints when you're looking at a sheet of veneer.
Okay. Okay.
Now, these are examples I could have better given you as a factory, like, well, showing you all the material side by side as to, what cracks are, what holes are, and how do they make a difference and everything, probably for the next time now.
Definitely for the
But
next time.
yeah. but that's how it works. And so we call that stage grouping, like that step of the process. It's called grouping, and that
Like
is where all the magic happens.
giving the entire texture part to the veneers.
Not the texture, but the design.
Design.
The patterns are mostly naturally occurring. It's just that the
Mm-hmm.
settlement of it makes a difference. Does that make sense to you?
Okay. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Okay, let me use a better word for it. The arrangement over settlement, let's say.
Can you explain? I didn't
Because
get that actually.
imagine, yeah. So basically, when you have your veneer strips, they have.
Uh,
So okay, before we go to that, let me come back to the slicing part. Now, when you talk about slicing of veneers, there are majorly
hmm.
three different kinds of cuts in veneers.
Okay.
One, your very basic is a crown cut.
Okay.
You can think of it as a flowery pattern,
Hmm.
and other cut would be your quarter cut, which is basically like
Hmm.
a straight grains, and
Hmm.
the third would be a rotary cut. Now
Okay.
I'll come and explain all of those to you. So when you talk
Yes.
about crown cut, it gives you the flowery pattern, and when you
Uh-huh.
just plane down slice the log, that's how you get it. For quarter
Uh-huh.
cut, as the name suggests, you have to
Hmm.
divide the log into four parts. So like if you can see, you make four quarters out of it, and then
Okay.
you slice the log from one edge. So it gives you a
Uh,
straight grain pattern. Because when you
uh,
look at a log, the grains inside go like this. Like as you can see, the
uh.
veins of the log also. Like when you see a log cut anywhere, or if you just look at the end of a piece of wood. So that's how the grains run usually. And
Like our
for
fingerprint kind of.
yeah, you can say somewhat like that.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, so majorly these two are the most popular cuts that there are, quarter and crown. And then you also have your rift cut, which is also sorry, rotary cut,
Rotary
which
cut.
happens on the machine. Now, have you seen how Japanese chefs slice a cucumber? Like I'm sure you must have seen it on Instagram or a YouTube video or something like that.
I
So
I don't remember
imagine,
particularly, but okay.
yeah, a cucumber is in the shape of a log also, if you come to think of it. Now, what they
Ha
do
ha
is
ha.
that they take the cucumber, so like it's like this, and they take
Ha.
the knife, they put it here, and then they slowly just like to peel it.
Okay.
So that
Okay. Okay.
basically it unfurls and it comes straight down. So like you've seen
Acha.
your towel rolls or crepe bandage rolls, something like that, how that comes out. But the thing is that the strip is very thin. So that's
Okay.
the main difference that comes out of it.
Hmm. So this is rotary
So
cut.
this is rotary cut. This
Okay.
is not
Okay.
very popular, but it still goes around. The most popular cuts are quarter and crown.
Okay. 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 And
Yeah, and okay, some exotic species, like for example, you can say, let's talk about crotches. Okay, like
hmm.
I might come into the details later, but when you talk about crotch, it is like a defective part of the wood, and you don't slice it in any other way, but just as it is. So it gives
Okay.
you the actual texture that there lies beneath it.
Like the defect, that defect becomes the texture.
Yeah, that is so. Basically, if you're talking about crotches now, a crotch is like a cancer to the tree.
Acha. 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 Okay.
Yeah, and when you cut alongside it, you get beautiful designs out of it.
Okay. Even that part of the tree can be used while making veneers.
Yeah, yeah. So you must have seen trees which go like both ways.
Ha ha.
Actually, no, crotch is not the cancer part of the tree. It's actually a ball, but crotches are wherein the tree divides into two branches. Like
Acha.
even separating from the bark, you get
Okay. Got it.
let's say that the tree goes multiple hands, and then
Ha.
the junction is basically where you get your crotches from. The burls, in fact, are a cancer to the tree, and when you
Acha.
actually just take out a burl, so a burl would be something which protrudes out of the tree. So, like let's say a tree is growing naturally, but
Hmm.
it's gotten some infection. Let's just go ahead with infection, and
Hmm.
something grows out of it. It protrudes, and when you take that out and cut that part of the tree, you get your crotch.
Oh, oh, the ball.
The ball, sorry, yeah, my bad. The ball.
Okay, okay, interesting. So these
Yeah,
gives the unique designs to the veneers.
yeah, exactly. So you can
Okay.
also categorize into different. So again, now as I told you, like for example, for crotches and balls, they're just a characteristic. Now many
Uh-huh.
different trees can have crotches and balls. So
Okay,
that's
so
how
they will
you
also vary
expand
from
your.
different trees.
Exactly. For example,
Huh.
a species of wood called mapa,
Huh, huh,
it
huh.
has balls, and there are ash balls also. So there are endless species with those names.
Okay, okay. So that's the reason why we got so many samples from real life.
Yeah, exactly. That is just like, okay, honestly, that is just still just like a dip in the water with the entire species of like the range of veneers you have. So if you discuss with Swati, she'll tell you, because we shared a very long list of samples that we could provide, and then we
Huh, huh, huh.
chose from that selection bit. So
Acha, acha. We
the range
came
displayed on
down
your
to those.
website. Yeah, exactly. So we chose some exotics, we chose most of the running items which are usually used, and we just
Uh-huh.
collaborated and made a list that worked like that to
Okay,
give a
okay.
good idea about the range of veneers that we have.
Uh-huh, understood. So are we done with the process? Like we have
No.
finally
We're just halfway through, but not a lot of
halfway
interesting
through.
steps that we are left for it. I'll
Yes, yes,
very quickly
I
sum
would
it up
like to
now.
know those as well.
Yeah, okay. So when you actually go to the grouping stage, which we were talking
Huh,
about,
huh,
which is a stage wherein the actual art is made. So that is
huh.
when you realize a lot of things about the veneers that you've sliced. For example, what to do with this quality of material. So at that stage, it's also decided if the veneer is going to be used as it is, like in the plain form, or will it go through some other processes. For example, smoking, weathering,
Acha.
metallic, dyeing, etc. Because after seeing the material in hand, you're able to judge, okay, this
Huh.
material is fit for this type of technique, or this material is fit for that type of process, stuff like that.
So
And
is
that
there
is how
any
you bifurcate.
like depending on what factors you decide which material which veneer should go for what?
It is honestly a very personal thing, and not something that I can talk a lot about right now and give a platform. But
Okay,
yeah, it's
okay.
sometime I'd
Uh-huh.
love to show you behind the scenes, because every manufacturer has a different set depending as to what they actually want to gain out of that particular product.
Okay,
So
okay.
it
Like the
varies at that level.
uniqueness that comes from there.
Yeah, exactly. And also the way you perceive things again. So something which looks very good to me might not look so good to the other, and I might have a different idea with it. So like
Hmm.
I might believe that, okay, I can do something really fun with this. Let me take that risk. But some other one might not. They'll be like, okay, no, let's just make it normally. Because
Ha, ha, ha,
once you
ha.
do a process, you can't undo it. For example, let's say I've
Yes.
dyed a veneer. I can't undo that. Let's say that
Yes,
I've
yes.
put it through the weathering process. I've already done that. I can't. Once I've smoked the veneer, I can't do undo it.
Yes, yes.
And
So the
it's a
experimentation
very
part basically is that.
expensive. Exactly. And okay, honestly, I would say that we have always had an open hand at experimenting is was one
Hmm.
of the reasons why we are where we are in terms of veneers.
Hmm, 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 hmm,
So
hmm.
we've always taken that risk. We've always had that capability to, go and do things that way. So that has really helped
Okay.
us grow in terms of our
Interesting.
expertise as well as our range.
Understood, understood, understood. So, for different categories, does the ranges also vary? Like for different
In what way?
designs, like the processes that goes behind. So, depending on the process, if that
Mhm.
process is too expensive or different process, so does that
Yeah,
reflect the
so
price of
okay,
those
honestly,
veneers as well?
it is something that you just have to take a call about, because
Okay,
the number of SKUs that can be made from this are endless.
that's
So
true.
you just have to put your foot down somewhere and go ahead with it. Like for
Uh-huh.
example, I'll give you an example for making colors. Like for making shades of colors, you can make an
Hmm.
endless number of shades. There's no end to it.
Hmm.
All you have to do is
Hmm.
mix something again.
Hmm.
So you have to just at times put your foot down and be like, okay, no, fine, this is what I'm going to do. So being decisive is a very big role in manufacturing veneers.
Hmm. 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 A lot like art.
Yeah. Of course, that's what I said, that this is where it comes to life. And so another reason why I am so passionate about veneer as a product, because it has a lot
Yes.
of beautiful characteristics. And I mean, I find manufacturing veneer not as a process, but rather as creating something.
Uh-huh. You like the
Those words mean the
creativity
same
behind
thing.
it.
Yeah, those words mean the same thing, but if you go behind the thought of it, It actually
Mm-hmm.
means it's like creating something else entirely. So that
Mm-hmm.
is what has also influenced me a lot to be in this field.
So you must be seeing all these processes since childhood, right? All these
Sorry?
like all these things goes on in front of you since you were a kid. Since
Yeah,
Real
of
Ply
course.
has been there for a long time.
Exactly. Exactly. But okay, honestly, I myself am not I don't want to use the word old, but okay, let me just call myself young. I'm quite young myself. I'm just 21
Ah,
right now. And
okay.
very recently, I got into the business. And the thing about having a veneer manufacturing unit is that you have to start at the bottom. So
Mm-hmm.
with my journey, I started by learning the manufacturing process first, like actually
Mm-hmm.
being at the factory for hours and for days to actually see what goes behind the scenes, and be able to grasp what is going on, so that
Okay.
I am hands down with everything.
Yes, definitely. That is very important to understand. Like you should know the process to
Yeah,
do what you're doing.
exactly. And before moving on to anything else, because see, at the end, all of us are here to do a business, but doing a
Mm-hmm.
business till some extent is same. It's like driving a car. So if you know
Mm-hmm.
how to drive your manuals, you know how to drive your automatics. If you know how to drive your hatchbacks, you know how to drive your SUVs also till some
Mm.
extent. But all it depends is that, okay, so what make and model are you driving when comparing different businesses? So the
Okay.
core principles remain the same. It's just that the differentiation of color, type, make, etc., is what
For
comes in
that, you need
businesses,
to
guys.
understand your vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay, okay. So,
So moving on,
yes.
yeah, let me just very quickly wrap things up with the manufacturing process, and then we can get to
Ha.
some more interesting talks about veneer. So
Yes.
after that, the process is very basic. Now the thing is that you can't make your entire lot of veneers and keep it with you, correct? So let's
Mm-hmm.
say that a log gives you one lot of veneer. Hypothetically, I'm saying, because I can't just like explain everything over a very simple conversation. So
Yes, we can keep
when
it
you
for
get
the
that,
next time.
you just, yeah, of course. So you just prepare one single sheet. So
Huh.
let's say you have your lots. Okay, and veneer lots can range from any number of sheets. The very
Huh.
basic size of a sheet is 8 foot by 4 foot, which is usually used. And a
Okay.
lot of veneer, which we call group in the industry language,
Hmm.
is so one group can consist of any number of pieces. It can be from 8 pieces to even 100 or 200 pieces of veneer just in one lot.
Okay.
So it is also
Okay.
varied by the quality of material that you have on hand, and
Huh.
also also the yield you got from a particular log. So usually you don't mix
Okay.
up the categories, but like the lots, but at times you can if you're feeling a little wild or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you get the yield. And when presenting anything, so we make one sample sheet. So out of
Hmm.
the during the grouping stage from the lot, we assemble and designed one sheet of veneer, which then goes throughout the manufacturing process and is stored in our showroom for the
Okay.
customer to come and see. So let's say that you're a customer, you're a dealer,
Okay.
you come to
Yes.
me and
Huh.
you're in my showroom, you're looking at your veneers and you like that. So you see that sample and be like, okay, I like that sample. Now the remainder pieces in that particular group won't be the same. Obviously they'll
Huh.
differ, but you'll get an idea as to, okay, this is the kind of design that will be followed through. These are the
Huh.
number
Huh.
of
Huh.
defects that will be there. So it's basically
Huh.
just like an introduction, you can say, or just a look and feel of it. And
Mm-hmm.
once you confirm your order to me, I go ahead and make the remainder of the products, like the remainder of the group that way.
Oh, is it like that? So once you get an order or you get an approval from the designer or a dealer, then the rest of the process is done.
Yeah, that then the rest of the material is made. But see, at any
Okay.
point of time, half the process is anyways done. So till
Ha
grouping,
ha
the process is complete.
ha
So only
ha.
after that, which is not a very lengthy process, I would say. So
Ha
let
ha
me
ha.
just quickly tell you about the process also. So after
Yes.
grouping,
Ha.
again, our material is stored, like the sample sheet is ready, and then the rest of the material is again stored at a warehouse for later production when the order comes.
Hmm.
And so basically, how the veneer sheet actually comes into play is that after, so during grouping, you've made the layout, you've made the design, you've made the like assembling layout, let's just
We
call it,
have the template for
and
it, kind of.
it's fine. You have the template for it. You have the template for it.
Ha.
And what you do is that basically you so then comes the taping part, wherein you tape the veneer strips together so that it holds on.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
After that, you paste the veneer sheet. So like
Sheet.
at that point of time, the veneer strip sheet is complete. You paste it
Huh.
on any back surface,
Okay.
which we call base ply in the industry.
Okay. Okay.
And we have an option for more than 7 different types of base ply with us, which is the highest any factory offers. So
Uh-huh.
usually
So
any
how does
manufacturer
they
in
differ?
India,
Like, yes.
they have different characteristics competing with price and quality. So
Acha,
I'll
acha,
come to
acha.
that. But
Huh.
we are the only manufacturer in India who has an option for 7 to 8 base panels with their veneers.
Interesting.
So I'll give you some names. So the most popular ones are Gurjan and Hardwood,
Okay.
and also Poplar. So then you have your Indian Gurjan. So Gurjan is mainly an imported base ply, which everyone gets from Indonesia and Malaysia also.
Okay.
And Hardwood again the same from Malaysia. So
Hmm.
these are imported base panels which you directly just import from a manufacturer from there, and then you paste your product on top of it.
Hmm.
And we also manufacture some base panels inside our factory, which I told you is again an entire process in the same. So it's the same like making plywood.
Ha.
So because base ply at the end of the day is plywood, it's a very thin type of plywood which is only used for backing. So
Ha.
that's how we do it. And we have multiple options. So again, they vary from their construction. Construction in
Hmm.
plywood is basically the build quality, the types of raw material that you use, and the bonding that you use for them. They
Hmm.
vary from their thickness, and they also vary from their face. Now, you might understand, like in terms of plywood, different plywoods look different, correct?
Yes.
In terms of the color, in terms of the design or the grain pattern that you see, that is because of the face that you put on the plywood. Now, face again,
Okay.
you have multiple face options. You have your Okume, you have your Recon face, you have your Gurjan face, you have your Birch face, so and so on,
So that
which
becomes
basically gives
entirely
the finished look.
different part of
Yeah,
manufacturing.
so yeah, exactly, and then you have different permutation and combinations to work around that.
Okay. Understood. So, is that the final product that that goes out, like pasted on the base ply?
Just yeah, you can say. So after you paste it on the base ply, you have to ensure that the bonding is strong, right? So that the veneer does not come
Acha,
off and it's actually stuck for good. So
a
that is
quality
when the
check,
pressing comes in hand. No, not the
pressing.
quality check. It's an entire process, pressing. So once you
Okay.
have pasted your veneer sheet on top of your base
Hmm.
panel, you press it, and
Okay.
you have a process of a hot press and a cold press both,
Acha.
because you've seen it like so your this shock treatment ring a bell. So
Huh.
it basically means that when you immediately heat something up and then cool it down, it gives the product a shock to ensure
Ha.
better bonding and stuff like that. So that is what we do.
Okay.
So we initially uh, put our material in the hot press so that it's stuck for the first time to create that
Huh.
bond, and then we also cold press the material to ensure that the bond really sticks on.
So both these processes happen, like not an option,
Yes,
but
both these
both
processes
happen.
happen. Yeah, both happen.
Okay,
And
understood.
after the pressing stage comes the finishing stage, which is the final step in the manufacturing process. And
Okay.
finishing is basically where you like you sand the material to get rid of any you can say uneven surfaces, or just slide. So just making sure that there is no wood sticking out, because at the end the strips of wood are also made out of
Huh.
wood. So you can get your
Ha.
thin wood which would probably hurt your skin or your hurt you somehow.
Understood.
And just
Yes.
making sure that the base panels are flat from all the sides. So that's basically the finishing stage. And
Okay.
after that is your branding and dispatch, wherein we put our
Ha.
stickers and branding whatever, and then we dispatch it to the customer.
Ha.
So
Oh,
it's a very
that's like
lengthy and
a
very
long
exciting and time
journey.
taking process. Yeah.
So how much time, like from the starting to getting the final product? What is the timeline from getting the logs to
Okay, so
getting
if
the
I do the
veneers?
entire process in one go, the minimum time of making any veneer, if I'm also boiling my own logs and slicing it, it would take anywhere between 10 to 12 days.
Okay. 10 to 12
Yeah.
days.
I'm talking about fastest way I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But usually
Understood.
on an
So,
average, whenever you also select a material, like let's say you selected a group from my place, um
hmm,
excuse me, it would take anywhere between 5 to 7 days for your material to actually be ready in the
Okay.
manufacturing process.
So once the order is placed, within 5 to 7 days, it will be ready
Yeah,
to be
usually,
delivered.
usually.
Okay, okay,
See,
understood, understood.
when any order is placed, it is directly not gone into production. It's not like
Huh,
Amazon. Because I'll give you an
huh,
example. So, like, let's say you bought something on Amazon. The moment you click it, it
hmm,
sends a message to the warehouse that this product is to be located and this is to be shipped. Correct?
hmm,
That is
hmm,
not how things work in our industry because there are a lot of factors involved, such as the material availability, the
hmm,
production planning, the um, credit availability towards the customer, and a lot of factors otherwise.
huh, 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 huh. So you keep
So it
yes, yes, please, please.
we keep we keep a buffer time, and so usually when you place an order, like let's say you selected it, because there's a lot of negotiating on the rate as well, the
Hmm,
pricing.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
Because
hmm.
as of now, as Realply Industries, we mainly operate on a dealer network. We have a network of more than 600-700 dealers across India, and we are
Okay.
actively working with quite a lot of them. And
Yes.
we at present only deal in bulk, but we're also trying to move into the influencer segment, which are your
Okay.
architects, interior designers, contractors, etc. Right now,
Uh
we
huh.
majorly operate on a wholesale and dealer network.
Uh huh.
And so for that, so the negotiating of the rate also takes some time, and then the final placement, because when you're actually buying the material in bulk, you have the liberty to actually just think it again. Okay, you want to add something to this order, or take something out, stuff like that. Because
Huh.
your purchase cycle would be anywhere from 1 month to 3 months also. So it's like you
Huh.
coming and buying your 3 months worth of material from me. So you'll obviously think it twice. You won't just place an order like that since it's not
Huh.
retail.
Huh. 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 Like considering the dealers.
Exactly, considering the dealers.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. So
So the
a
moment
lot
you
of
tell
things
me this
that.
is good to go, it takes a day, day and a half for the actual order to go into process. Because then my production manager would also have to look at, okay, how much time do I have to make this order? Because a lot of people would say, please, sir, this is an urgent order, like get it done on
There
a
is a timeline for
faster
them.
basis. And the thing is that
Huh.
everyone comes and says that it's an urgent order. So how do you actually treat the urgency also that way?
Huh,
That
huh, huh.
becomes a challenge for us.
Huh, huh.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have heard that like you guys do a lot of customization also for architects and like for your customers. So what does that exactly mean?
Yes, we
What
do.
what is the customization part?
I I will come to that. So the thing is that okay, so can I take some time and talk about the different kinds of veneers first? That will give you a better idea as to what that means. So veneer can mainly be divided into three different categories.
Okay.
Them being namely natural, recon, and
Huh.
teak. Now teak is also
Okay.
part of natural veneers, but the range in teak veneers is so huge itself that the industry has created it as a separate segment itself.
Hmm, 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 hmm.
So your
Okay.
natural veneers and teak veneers are again veneers which are found naturally, and your
Huh.
recon veneers are somewhat man-made veneers. Now, what I mean by man-made veneers is that you can control the design pattern in that.
Okay. 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 Getting an
So
idea.
imagine you've sliced one log. You've sliced one log, okay? So you
Huh.
know how the design pattern is running through that. You've
Hmm.
sliced another log. You know how the design pattern is running in that. You've
Huh.
sliced a third log also, maybe. You know how the design pattern is running in that. Now, what you do is
Huh.
that you combine all of these three logs in a setting which you can control because you know the inputs, so you can know the output also, and then you
Acha.
compress it, and then you slice it again. So you can
Huh. Huh.
control the pattern. It is more even, it is more I would say predictable also as to the output that you're going to get, and it's more consistent because in natural
Okay.
veneers the consistency is not there because
Huh. Huh.
every
Huh.
strip of veneer is also different.
So
But
are
in
these
recon veneers
similar
there are.
like the recon veneers? Are these identical and all the designs are identical?
Yeah, more or less, more or less. So you can somewhat buy recon veneers like you buy laminates also, like just from the catalog. You can't buy veneers
Okay,
from a catalog because the strip that you see and the strip that you might get is very different in
it
itself.
will be
But the recon
different.
veneers are the same. The recon veneers are same. Like you can choose it and you will get the same product or a very similar product, which you can't
Okay,
differentiate.
okay,
Now, when I
okay.
talk
So
about
the man-made
customization,
part is just the design, right? And all those other
yeah,
things are
yeah,
kept
yeah,
the
yeah.
same.
Because you're controlling the design and the output there, no? So that is where the
Ha,
man-made part.
ha, ha, ha. Understood, understood. So yes, you're
Now
talking
when I
about the customization.
Yeah, now when I talk about the customization, so we also have a veneer category known as handcrafted veneers.
Okay, okay.
So do you understand what I mean by handcrafted veneers now?
You need to explain.
Okay. So basically, handcrafted veneers are just some designs that we made on our own. So like it might include just abstract designs completely. The only thing is
Okay.
that we make it using just plain veneer itself. Is it possible that I can share my screen? I'd love to show you some designs or
Sure,
something like that.
sure, definitely. Do I need to do
Okay, I
something
think you
from?
need you need to enable participant sharing for that.
I will do that. Uh,
So the reason Arc Mozilla does not have it on hand is that it's very difficult to create a sample for them, the handcrafted veneers.
okay. I
So if
have
you
I
can see
have
my
given you the
screen now,
access. Yes.
okay. So here we go. So this is my upcoming catalog for national veneers, and this is the handcrafted segment for it. Now, when you look about
Okay.
it, you can see these veneer designs. Now, again,
Mm-hmm.
these are made out of wood veneers only, but these are abstract designs which we've made. Like each of these shape, it's been hand
Uh-huh.
cut and pressed.
Acha.
So
So these come
you
under
get
the
this image.
recon category.
No. These come under the handcrafted only because again, these are made out of natural
Handcrafted.
veneers.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay, okay.
So the name handcrafted because again, they're made by hand.
Oh, interesting.
And in
Uh-huh.
India, we have the largest range of handcrafted veneers.
Understood. Great.
So all of these are just basic abstract designs that we've
Mm-hmm.
made with the customer taste and preference. So when I talk
These
about
are really good.
customizing veneers, so when I
Yes.
talk about customizing veneers, architects and such influencers, they can create this design for me and I can make it for them.
Okay. So the
Let's
design
say,
part
let's say
comes
that
from their end.
exactly. And I've anyways done that for a few clients, like wherein, but
Uh-huh.
the thing is that I'm only able to do it in bulk to actually make
Acha.
it worthwhile for me also because this is a very long process. It takes a lot of time because each of this is set by hand. So a lot
Ha
of
ha ha.
labor, skill, and time goes into it. So
Ha ha.
doing it in bulk is the way to go. But again, depending upon the client and what his or her requirement is, we can definitely work things out in terms of customizing veneers also.
So the order needs to be big, and then you guys can do whatever design comes from the
Yeah,
architect.
yeah. But okay,
Okay.
so in at times we can also accommodate small orders. Again, it depends on how the things are also happening for the factory. What is the production load at that point of time? So again, it's a very I would say unpredictable thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unpredictable in what sense? Like,
In the way that, okay, let's say you come to me, I have a lot of backload of orders, let's say, then I won't be able to give you for a small quantity maybe. But if you come to me at a
okay.
time wherein things are eased out, I am like smoothly running through things and I can actually
Uh,
like make the time for it, then I'll definitely make a small quantity also for you because again, these are completely made by
okay.
hand.
So based on your availability and all those things, also it will depend.
Yeah. So now when I talk
Okay.
about this, I have also tried to give a very good outlook on veneers and how it's made. So basically, with the launch
Mm-hmm.
of my new folder, it talks about wood, like what wood is
Okay.
and how it's used in veneers, and it also
Huh.
educates the customer about the different types and cuts of wood. For example, I was talking about
Oh,
birch wood,
you
so you can see
all the
those
things that
outgoing
we talked
parts over
about.
here.
Ha.
Exactly. So the different types of
Interesting.
figures that there are, all the characteristics of wood, types of features, like I told you, like so. Usually at times you can see something of this also. Like so, when you see a veneer, you see that there's a white portion or a yellowish portion that there is in the middle of it.
Yes.
It's called
Yes.
sap.
Yes.
Sap is usually found
Okay.
in wood, so it also creates a design. Now this part here is
Ha.
also called a sap.
Okay.
So again, you have like
Every
endless
every
details.
feature, every characteristics of a wood becomes a design.
Exactly, and you have your entire. So basically, this is my goal with making this folder was to also educate the customer as to what veneer is and how it actually works around.
Mm-hmm. So
And
I'll
I'm proud.
is
Yeah,
it
please.
available for every viewer.
Very soon, very soon it will be. I'm just on the last phase of it, finishing it, and I'm proud to say that my design team has done a fantastic job in making it.
Definitely, these look
And
so beautiful.
a lot of personal effort has also gone into it, because I've had to, like, sit down with them and actually generate that content, because you can't just find this on the internet. It goes in
Ha
with a lot
ha
of
ha
personal touch also. So a lot of
ha ha.
time and
So these
effort
are the
has gone into
catalogs
making it.
of Real Ply.
Yeah, so this is the flagship catalog. I just gave you a glimpse of it, since
Ha ha ha.
we're having this conversation, but it's not out in the public yet. It will be very soon, and then
Okay,
it'll be accessible to everyone.
sure, sure. So they
So this
like if
basically
anyone wants to
has the
check this
entire
out,
range of.
if anyone wants to
They'll
check
be
this
they'll
out.
be able to do it in a bit. So we'll upload it on your website also, so that they can easily download it
Okay,
from there and have a look. Or we'll create a link for
sure.
our website, so that they can just come there and
Ha
download it,
ha.
however it works out.
So I'll add the links once they're out.
Yes.
Okay, so coming to the final question, like talking about family-run businesses, they
Mhm.
evolve a lot through the time, like depending on the customers, depending on the trends and demands. So, like right now, what changes are you bringing to this industry to Real Ply? What is your input on all this?
So as I understand my industry as of now, not only RealPly, but talking about the entire panel
Huh.
industry or the wooden building material industry,
Mm-hmm.
this industry itself is very highly unorganized in terms, like, going from the
That's something that
manufacturing
I heard a lot
process.
from different
Yeah, so it's
people.
highly unorganized, and that is
Huh.
something that might not probably just be changed or eradicated, because that's how the way of working has been ever since. So
Huh, huh,
the
huh.
best you can do is try to change it according to you, in what feels the best for you, or
Mm-hmm.
accommodate yourself in the way of the business. Now, me
Hmm.
being young, me being from the newest generation, it always somewhat takes a toll on me to also work in the unorthodox, or like in the orthodox ways, and just seeing that, okay, things are not
Doing
going in
the
the
things
proper
that
channels and
used to
whatnot.
be done is difficult.
Exactly. So
Uh-huh.
that is one of my main goals, and that is something that I'm trying to change. I'm trying to organize my company in itself also. So
Huh.
we as an organization are going through a phase right now, wherein we're going from being unorganized to being organized in all the aspects, like hiring a
Huh.
sales team, actually making proper channels for everything. So earlier we
Huh.
never used to have a sales team anyways. Like, we very recently
Okay.
started to market and brand ourselves. We
Okay.
used to be like a supermarket, wherein people just came automatically or from the word of mouth and purchased material from us. But
Acha,
now we're
acha,
actually
acha.
trying to approach a lot of people also on our front, and we've
Uh-huh.
grown this much just by the word of mouth, you can say. So things
And
like that.
how does the like digitalization bring the difference in this industry?
It has brought a lot. So okay, I'm talking about something on a personal level. So last year when
Huh.
COVID hit, when you
Mm-hmm.
buy veneers in bulk, what you do is the very basic process that, for example, Siddharth, you are a dealer, okay? You're based out of
Mm-hmm.
Ahmedabad. I am your
Mm-hmm.
manufacturer. I sell you my material. You won't
Mm-hmm.
select material over call or over phone. What you'll do is
Definitely
that you'll
not.
fly down to Delhi, you'll come to my factory, you'll
Yes.
see my range, you'll select the material by looking at it right in front of you, and then
Hmm.
place the order, and then go back, and then we send the material to you.
Huh.
Excuse me. When COVID hit, this was a big hindrance, because first of all,
This
people could
can't.
not travel. Second of
Yes.
all, people were scared to travel. Third of all,
Mm-hmm.
nothing is over your health and your safety. Okay.
Definitely.
So I
Mm-hmm.
came up with a concept of go live with RealPly, wherein I
Okay.
created a studio at the factory. I bought a high definition video camera, and
Uh-huh.
made some setup over there, so that
Uh-huh.
people could select veneers with the comfort of their living room or at their office or wherever. So for example, you're a dealer,
Okay. Huh, huh, huh.
you could book a Zoom meeting with me, and then I would
Hmm.
show you the veneers live, like with all the
Hmm.
characteristics that are, like, zooming in, and since you're already in the works, you kind of anyways understand what's going on there. So me
Hmm.
showing it
Hmm.
to you
Hmm.
live just becomes an edge. So this is an innovation that we did.
Huh.
This worked out quite well for us. Okay, for example,
So
now architects, they're very busy. They don't want to
yes.
leave their office for anything. So this has
Huh.
worked out really well with them also, with a few architects that we're connected with. So
Okay.
you
Okay.
know we used to
So
have Zoom calls, and they could just see the material over there right there and then, and they used to like love the idea for that.
uh-huh. So like the world was moving towards Zoom, you also came closer to that.
Exactly. We
Uh-huh.
we
So
went into
were
it.
the architects and dealers satisfied with what they saw
They
and
were, they
like
were, they were.
Okay, okay.
They were
So,
quite, and they found it quite easy also. See, a lot of people were unaccepting towards it also. I won't lie,
हाँ,
seeing that यार ये तो मैं online देख रहा हूँ, ये जरूरी नहीं ना same होगा ऐसे एक,
हाँ,
because it
exactly.
being a traditional industry, a lot of people have that mindset or had that mindset. But with the
हाँ,
people who wanted to move on, innovate and actually believe in the system, it worked
like
wonders with them.
finding the right-minded people and selling the
Exactly.
product.
Exactly. We also changed a
Okay,
lot of people's mindset with that. We convinced them कि
definitely.
sir आप एक बार करके तो देखो. We had to also
हाँ,
incentivize them in order to like just make them comfortable with the fact. But yeah, we did that.
हाँ, 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 हाँ. हाँ, मतलब once they try, they will also understand the quality you're providing,
Exactly.
and that's great.
Exactly.
That's great. So yes, I think we have covered most of the things,
Quite a
and like
bit.
a lot of things are
Yeah.
still left, which we can
Of
keep for the
course, of
next
course, of
time.
course. We will
We
for
can
sure do that.
arrange a meet to your like a tour of your factory as well.
Uh-huh.
It might be it
Definitely.
will be very very interesting for the viewers as well.
Definitely.
So it was great talking to you, Abhirup.
It was great talking to
Like
you as well, Siddharth. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this
thank you.
conversation, and I hope the people watching this has have gotten a good idea and have been able to share my knowledge to the optimum level.
Definitely, it was
And
really a lot of information. I'm also absorbing only. It's a lot of things around me, so it
yeah.
was really great. So it
Mhm.
will be very very useful for whoever listens to this.
Okay, superb.
Okay,
So looking forward to seeing you, and take care, and thank you so much for having me, and I'll see you soon.
thank you so much. Okay, bye bye.
Okay, great.
See
Thank
you.
you. Have
Bye.
a good evening. Bye.
Great, thank you.
And that was a beautiful conversation with Mr. Abhiroop, and I got to understand a lot about the veneers and the processes that are involved before we actually get them. Share it with your friends and whoever you think will benefit from this informational conversation. And stay tuned till the next episode. We'll be bringing a lot more people and a lot more informational content your way. Thank you.